Good morning, everybody. How are you? Look, I'm coming at you this morning with a little bit of a different video here. And as a lot of you who know me know, I don't do this sort of thing. And there is good reason for it. However, I do. Sometimes I'm led to do it in my private life, but I don't do it on my channel. And you know, when you kind of get a phone call from a friend, one of your best friends, if not your best friend, will call you and say, listen, I got a job I need you to do. And he tells you what the job is, and you go, well, there's better people qualified for that than I am. I can do the job, but why don't you get somebody that would be better at it? And your friend says, no, because I trust you more than them and I want you to do it. That would be why a friend would do it over somebody that's, maybe going to rip them off or something. So you agree to do that job that you're not highly qualified for, you can do the job. And then when the job's done, you wonder if the job was done. And so you ask your friend, the one who called you for the job, ask them for confirmation that you did a good job. You get the confirmation, you get paid, and you go. And it's as simple as that, right? Well, I was called this morning to do something that I never do. Like I said, I do it personally, but I will never usually show this. And here it is. I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. What's happened is he's been speaking to me about Lahaina, about Maui very, very much since this happened. And my heart is broken for those who were caught out, the total innocent. I'm not talking about people of the bad bloodline, because the father knows who his children are. And I just have faith that he has his children in the right place when these things happen. I really do. And it's things like this that give us insight even after the fact. So it's not hindsight, but we've got insight into what we can look for next. And we do have to keep our heads on swivels, because it's what I've just discovered. Let's go through it. Let's go through it bit by bit. Like I said, I'm not good at this, explaining this sort of thing, because it's not what I do. But let's give it a go. I'm pretty versatile. I'll see what I can do. So it came to me this morning about Maui. The father started speaking to me about it, and he said, I want you to go back on what you were doing the other day. And I thought, I just come up with numbers. Nothing really made sense. I put some dates down and I went from there. But he said, no, I want you to pick that up and run with that again and see where I lead you. Okay, let's go. So Mountain Dew released their Maui Burst flavor on the 16th of October 2019, which, when you break that down, equals 22. As you can see, when you break it down, your 8 and 8 is 16, your 2, 2, 3 is 7, and it is 23. So the release date, 16th of October 2019. All right. Now, the next date we're looking at is the Maui Catastrophe, which is the 8th of August 2023, which just happened to break down 8 and 8, 16, 3 and 2 and 2 is 7. We have 23. Like I said, I don't concentrate on gematria, and I thought I was barking up a tree. But this could be a message. This could be a message. All right, so the days between the release date of Maui Burst and the devastation was 3 years, 9 months, and 23 days. Now, we know the way that the occult plays with their numbers. you can take that as 3 6s, 3 9s, because they turn everything upside down. And you have 23 days. Then I went to the Strong's Concordance and looked up 1,392 days, which is what it is in days. And in Hebrew, it is the calyx of a flower, the outermost whorl of the flower. Now, there is another word connected to this, which is bold, and not bold, but bold, and it means in bloom. So it's like a head of wheat. When that wheat is ready to crush, they call it bold, B-O-L-L-E-D. But here is where Father showed me straight away an image in my mind. 1392, calyx of a flower, the outermost whorl of the flower. And I immediately saw in my mind the footage of the whirling of the black clouds it wasn't normal. There was a whole wall, and Chief showed it. He's showed it a few times on his channel, and it was whirling around. These things have their own energy. This is not just the weapons we're talking about. It's the entities that this is releasing. And so calyx of a flower, the outermost whorl of the flower, is what 1392 means, which is the amount of days in between Maui burst release date to the Maui devastation. Then in Greek, 1392 means to render glorious, glorify, glory, honor, magnify. Now, I know you're going to think, well, that doesn't make sense. Oh, yes, it does. When I was shown straight away that it was to or glorify, honor their wicked one coming. Now, hang with me. We're not finished. No. No. It's very hard to look through the camera, and then I'm looking down trying to read it. So if I'm a bit shaky, I apologize. Okay, the Baha flash flavor. Yes, did you know there's a Baha flash flavor? And what have we got right now? I didn't realize, I didn't even know until this morning that there was this massive hurricane bearing down on Baja and California and all that. I did not know. And it was after this. So, no, I apologize. It was just before this. But it didn't even click until I'd finished writing all this stuff. So Baha Flash Flavor, release date 23rd of August 2022. Now, and so I went to the date of the devastation. Even though it's Baha, it's not Maui. I just did this. But this is very telling, because which is 11 months and 16 days apart. You've got a 9/11 in there straight away. This is how their black magic works. This is not a stretch, because they are as good at this as we are at speaking a normal sentence. It works for them. They know what they're doing, and it's code. All right, which is 11 months, 16 days apart. It's 9/11, 350 in Strong's, which is 350 days in between. In Greek, it means height, high place, wave. Wave. Baha Flash Mountain Dew. Wave. Now, in this instance, is this referring to what happened? Or is this referring to what could happen? And so I was a bit stuck. I'm thinking, I don't know. Is this, Baja, this is something different. It's not Maui. So how does this connect? How? And then I found this. How to unlock Mountain Dew endorsement on the game NBA 2K23. Look at those numbers, guys. 2K is 211, and then you have 23. Now, we could take that as the 2nd of November, 23, because that's the way we read our dates in this country. You've also got, straight in your face, their signature Skull and Bones 322 right there. But do you know what this endorsement does? It unlocks Dr. Disrespect. Can I hear the word doctor again? Okay, so there is also another very amazing thing about Mountain Dew, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but my husband's born in 1961, and I've known this forever. Founded in 1961, Pepsi took it then. It was just a couple who had come up with the formula in 1940. Then in 1961, Pepsi took it. So we know who took it. Look at 1961. Do you know it is the only date in that era except... no, it is. It is the only date that you can flip literally upside down, back to front. It's a mirror image of itself. 1961 is like the infinity symbol. Okay? So that means something to them. This is when Mountain Dew was founded, 1961. Now, so I went, wave. This is like, that's Baja, that's not Maui. And we already had Dew Wave over there. So what are you saying here? You know, and I'm still, well, I have gotten some things down here that I just think if people are aware of this, we can all have a look at it. Those of you who are gifted in this way, and like I said, I thought there'd be someone way better for the job than me. However, maybe he didn't want those people to do it. I know there are people with full channels out there that concentrate on this stuff. However, if you see the content after a while, it becomes draining, it becomes stressful, because that is all they concentrate on. And, you know, the Father doesn't want us doing that. He wants us looking in lots of different directions to keep ourselves fresh, okay? Because if you stay stuck, like if you just look at the occult for a month and nothing else, something spiritually bad will happen to you. Spiritually bad, maybe not physically, but you know what I mean. You will incur things in your life because you have concentrated too much of your time and not prayed about it and asked him to balance you, which I'm sure that all happened to us in the beginning when we started getting this information and we were watching it every day. I think every single one will vouch. We went through a dry spell of, oh my gosh, I am not going to survive this information. This is real. This is really happening. You know, that moment of just realization where it just lasts for so long. It doesn't leave you. But fear not, guys. Now, I asked for a witness. I prayed and I said, Father, I'm not going to do this without confirmation. And I prayed and he gave me this. I will send out the curse, says the Lord of hosts. Can you see that? There we go, that's better. I will send out the curse, says the Lord of hosts. It shall enter the house of the thief and the house of the one who swears falsely by my name. It shall remain in the midst of his house and consume it with its timber and stones. What happened in Maui? Okay, so if we go to the 2nd of November, where's my dates between for that one? Didn't I write that down? Didn't I write that down? And so I also might have a second part of this because I've jumped the gun. And I did have a little bit more to do. I made a coffee and I forgot that I had one more calculation to do, which was I wanted to do days between, so you guys know, the Baja Flash and the 2nd of the 11th, 2023. So that's the days in between I want to work out and see what that unlocks. But this last bit, you unlock an endorsement on game NBA 2K23. This is speaking that there is nothing more to say than they have their fingerprints, their dirty mitts all over this. And we know it. And I don't know if this will help people who don't believe that this was a purposeful thing. And we have to talk being very careful. That's why a lot of us stammer and stutter as we're trying to think of a different word than the word we're going to say. It's crazy, guys. But I think when look, I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to confuse anybody with this, but I just thought I'd bring you the information that he gave me, and really I don't really want to say too much about it myself, because I think it spoke for itself if I went through it properly. If not, I might even do this again if I add, because there are other things, and I did forget to add something to this. I was too busy having a cuppa, too excited to tell you guys about this. But I tell you what, I know this has my father's signature on it, being shown this morning, and he's showing me their signatures on it. He's telling me to watch out for the 2nd of November this year, or the 23rd of November this year, which that would be weird because that's the day I popped into the world. So I do, nothing would surprise me. So it's, I'm looking at it as the 2nd of November or the 23rd of November. It's just a warning date, and I never do this. So who am I? I'm just being sent to tell you a message. Okay, this is Beck. I'll catch you later. Bye. My phone won't turn off. It doesn't want to.